The video game industry is facing a lot of problems right now, and a lot of companies are going through layoffs, but it's no shocker to see that Rocksteady is next on the list because now we're finding out that due to the poor performance of Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, tons of people are losing their jobs. I have a few different things to show off, but before I get into the topic, if you enjoy the content I create, check out the links in the description, join the community in my live streams, and consider supporting through Patreon or YouTube memberships. Now, just a couple of months ago, I actually had some people reach out to me that had previously worked at Rocksteady, talking about how there are major layoffs that the company was planning because Warner Brothers Discovery has been very vocal in regards to the $200 million they lost. They have not been very happy with Rocksteady's performance regarding the DLC for Kill the Justice League. And while I don't usually speak out on the insider information I receive, we're seeing a sort of rough time for the industry right now. Companies are pumping out products that consumers generally are not enjoying, and Kill the Justice League should have been a game that should have made them a lot of money because they were riding on the Arkhamverse hype and all of that love and nostalgia, and it just didn't work out for them. They lost a lot. It seemed like they really didn't have another direction to go in, and the information I got said that they were going to go through major layoffs or they might have even shut down. But now we're finding out that yes, in fact, they are going through layoffs. Now, this all does stem from Eurogamer's report saying Rocksteady's staff have told Eurogamer of redundancies at the studio following the underperformance of KTJL. The company's QA department has seen its size almost cut in half over the past month, and we do know that the reason they've cited for this restructuring is because of the poor sales of KTJL, and the job losses extend outside of QA2. One staff member posting publicly on social media over the weekend revealing they had been told they were being made redundant in the middle of their paternity leave. Now, Warner Brothers has not made an official statement on this yet. Several, journos have reached out to them and they haven't given a response. I think they're probably going to make their own response just because so many people are talking about it on social media. We don't ultimately know, but if they really have laid off more than the, couple of handfuls of people that we're hearing about now, it's going to look even worse for them if they don't try to clarify things themselves. Now, I do not usually like to revel in the fact that people are losing their jobs because even on the most woke products, the worst products possible, there are typically a few people in the midst of the ranks that are genuinely passionate, that do genuinely care about the content they're working on. But at the same time, when you are not doing your job or you are doing poorly at your job, this is what's going to happen. You're going to end up going through layoffs. You're going to end up getting fired. You're not going to have that job anymore. And Suicide Squad is the worst game that they possibly could have made. And yes, part of that is on Warner Brothers directly because we did hear that Warner Brothers was the reason they went to live service slop and they didn't want to go in that direction. But they were still the ones creating the content in this game. They were still the ones coming up with the story and the character details and the outfits and the maps, and all of those things were still trash within this game. It did not feel like an Arkhamverse title at all whatsoever. It completely spit in the faces of Arkhamverse fans, even though this was supposed to be a continuation, and it's just a really pathetic product at the end of the day. I've loved the Arkhamverse games. I was initially looking forward to this because I wanted them to do a good job, but it was clear very early on that this was just going to be another really bad title, and nobody's enjoyed it. I mean, as you can see over on Steam, the all-time peak concurrent at launch was 13,459, which is chump change compared to some of the other Arkhamverse titles, but playing as of right now, we're only 105 players in game. This title has not been able to hold numbers, even with the Joker DLC and the Mrs. Freeze character edition. They have not been able to pull in even half of these 13,000 people back. They have not been able to get players back into the game. And I know I purchased it, I live streamed it at launch, I gave you guys my genuine, honest first impressions, and I hated it. I have not gone back to play Joker, I've not gone back to play Mrs. Freeze. I would maybe go back if they are going to add Deathstroke just to see what they've done with his story, but I don't foresee them saving this game or turning it around. And it does seem that Rocksteady is at this point committed to the timeline they initially gave, which was 1 year after launch. But we know that after that 1 year comes and goes, they're going to drop this game like a rock. They're not going to actively update it anymore. They're not going to continue development on it. This is just what happens with live service games. You have about a year, sometimes even only 6 months, but in this case, a year to, prove to, in this case, Warner Brothers, that you can make money, and that's just not happening. So after that 1 year comes and goes in February, I don't foresee them updating the game, making extra content, and it sucks for the people who bought it at $70 or bought battle passes and bought all of this extra content that they put into the game, because there are clearly a couple of people who are enjoying it, but it's obvious that modern audience slop does not sell. Activists slop does not sell. And this is something that developers need to realize. When you pump out really bad products that focus on pushing a narrative first instead of a genuinely fun experience with amazing storytelling and really solid gameplay and awesome maps and collectibles and missions, you're just not going to sell copies of your title. And that is exactly what happened here. They had so many people who loved the other Arkham games, and instead of continuing with that formula that could have made them another billion freaking dollars, they wanted to go in this new modern direction. But games focused on modernity, games focused on trying to be sold to the modern audiences, never freaking work. Concord, Dustborn, Flintlock, Suicide Squad, all games that have come out just this year that have been complete and utter catastrophes. I can't say I'm very surprised to see another Sweet Baby Inc. affiliated title releasing and being an epic failure and actually being the reason. I can't say I'm very surprised that another Sweet Baby Inc. affiliated title has caused people to lose their jobs. I just can only say I'm disappointed that so many studios are continuing to work with this company even though all they know how to do is lose money. And when Suicide Squad was greenlit, there were some obvious problems because we were seeing a giant scramble for studios to create live service games, and this one released too late. Plus, the content didn't resonate with players, and then we found out the Rocksteady Studios co-founders and studio heads also departed the company, so it's been a nightmare for them for years at this point. But Sweet Baby Inc. affiliation was truly the icing on the cake and a big reason why this title did face such a massive boycott and such a massive loss in sales. So of course I will be keeping my eye on this. Maybe Warner Brothers will make a statement, maybe they'll try to be silent, but people are already pointing and laughing at them, and it's not going to get any better. But that's all that I really had to discuss in this video. Let everyone know your thoughts in the comments below. If you enjoyed this, give it a like, and if you didn't, give it a dislike. I appreciate your support either way, but I'll talk to you all again in the next video really soon.